everything that we're talking about related to extreme optimization. We're gonna dive deeper. But the key thing to remember is that we need you to share your stuff with us so that we can help you. That's really the core of the Profit Labs. Is we're going to share 5, 10, 15 minutes of new information, but most of the Profit Labs is going to be helping you guys by giving you guys ideas that if you hired me and paid me a lot of money personally, I would give you the same ideas. So this is a great value. I mean, I'm not even going to tell you how much I charge because it's a lot of money. But the point is, you're going to get that same value, and you're actually getting access to the entire Mad Marketing crew, which includes Claude, who's my business partner in the guitar business, and Andy, who's my right-hand man, and Carl, who's our main tech guy. And on the other calls, tomorrow night, for example, Bruceinator, the AdWords Ninja, this is our AdWords guy. Him and I work together all the time. You're going to have him, and then John, the boss man, is also going to be joining us. So it's a great team. It's a great crew. And like I said, these are the real guys that I work with day in, day out. So again, these are the guys that you're going to be working with, and these are all my business partners and team members. And every one of these guys brings a lot of value to the table. All right, so I'm going to assume that some of you are just getting started. Some of you already have successful businesses, and that's great. But obviously, before you get started with the big picture, you need a good website before you obviously can start testing, and you need a good product or service. And if some of you guys do the affiliate game, obviously you need a good mix of highly converting offer. But I just want to say that affiliate marketing, I think, should just be a supplement to your core business. If your entire business is built around affiliate marketing, I would recommend you start creating your own products and services, because we've seen I'm not going to say affiliate marketing is dead, but Google and everybody else has really made it a lot tougher to primarily be an affiliate. So I know some guys do a lot of money with affiliate marketing, but I believe in building my own business, building a real tangible asset that I can sell later down the line. All right, so tonight we're going to be talking about winning the war before it starts. And it's all about, having how to understand your market better than your competition. Because if you can do that, you're going to be able to test ideas that are just going to resonate deeper, stronger, and harder than everyone else. So we're going to be kind of giving you guys some real core marketing lessons, but they apply directly to how we test and what we test. So this is a really important concept too, and I call it the optimal marketing intensity zone. So in every market, this changes, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples in a minute. So the level of intensity of the words and style, and this is really important because when we give you guys ideas on how to test in AdWords or what to test on your opt-in page or sales letters, this is something to be aware of. So the bottom part of this zone is the dangerously boring zone, okay? And one of the expressions of marketing is the only sin is to be boring. So if you're boring, people tune out, and if they tune out, they're not going to buy. So you, at the very least, where the money zone begins is the interestingly professional zone. And there's a lot of cool sites, like Zappos is an example. They're interestingly professional, and it works. I mean, people, you go to your website or you deal with them, and it's not a boring experience. It's a cool experience. It's an enlightening experience. So, even if you're a lawyer, even if you're a doctor, you can make your marketing, your website, your communications interestingly professional. Then, if you push it up, you've got the edgy marketing zone. Now, for certain markets, this is where you need to be. I've sold self-defense products, bodybuilding products, and in those types of niches, I mean, if you're not edgy, you're dangerously boring. So, again, you got to keep that in mind. And then, of course, the top level is you've gone too far zone, and then you'll lose people because you're just too over the top or too edgy or too crazy. So, what changes, obviously, is that, if you're dealing with bodybuilders, the edgy marketing zone really expands. The interestingly professional zone shrinks, and the you've gone too far zone actually shrinks as well. And there's a typo there. You've got too far. And as you've gone too far, that shrinks as well. I mean, with bodybuilders, you're talking guys that are crazy, that are willing to go to the gym, squat till they puke. It's pretty hard to be too over the top with them. And, you know, it's quite easy to be too boring. Now, obviously, if you're dealing with the yoga market, things go the other way. You know, the interestingly professional zone expands, and the edgy marketing zone shrinks, and, you know, you've gone too far zone is a lot more achievable, and it's a lot harder to be dangerously boring. So, you know, depending on your market, you've got to dial this in. You absolutely have to dial this in, and it's one of the key elements that's going to make the difference in terms of your conversion rates. Now, Claude, anything else you want to add, or Andy, Bruce, Carl? Go ahead, Claude.
This is, yeah, I love these charts. I mean, you know, it's it all comes down to, you know, speaking the language of your prospect, and, you know, the intensity is one of the most important parameters. But yeah, we're going to get into copywriting later in the Profit Labs, and, you know, you really want to be speaking your prospect's language, and it can depend on the market, and it can also depend on your personality too. And if you're like an edgy kind of person, like a far out wild and crazy guy, don't be afraid to be yourself. If that's gonna, you know, you're gonna bring out some of your own voice, and maybe you can get a little more edgy, or, you know, you can be a little bit more professional. But you definitely want to try to align yourself, and it goes back to what you always talk about, Matt, which is like harmony, right? With harmony with the market.
Yeah, and, you know, again, we're talking about how to win the war before it starts. One of the ways you can win the war is to just, like, if everybody's trying to be interested, professional in your niche, like you're dealing with, again, doctors or lawyers, if you're the one guy that's communicating a little more edgy than everyone else, you're kind of beating them. So it's just a great tool, and again, we're going to help you guys kind of dial this in. And, you know, you have to test. Again, I mean, one of the core elements, of course, of this whole program is to test. And you almost have to push it too far to know where that line is. I know that, you know, some of our headlines and stuff are pretty crazy sometimes. And most of the time they don't work, but we've got to test it. We've got to find out where the edge is. So we push it right over the edge, and then we come back if it doesn't work. All right, so I'm going to share with you guys kind of the process that I use to start a new business. Let's say I'm in a new niche starting tomorrow. Well, step one, obviously, you got to create your sales letter, and does your offer work? So I'm not going to waste my time doing some price testing. What I'm going to do is start by matching the market's offer. So, you know, if you're in the fitness market, you go to ClickBank, almost every single product is $47. If I come out with a $97 product, is it going to work? Maybe, but I wouldn't get out of the gate with that. There's other things that you want to test. So obviously you need a sales letter. Step two is you need to build a Google-friendly website. And this is huge, guys. You cannot build a one-page website with your sales letter anymore. I mean, not if you want to go buy traffic, you know, on Google, or actually more and more sites. So quantumjumping.com, which is Mindvalley's site, I talked to Vishen, and Google likes them so much, I guess they have a Google rep at their office every week. Now, MyAlly or MyAlly.com is a site that I know for a fact, because a Google rep told one of my buddies that if you want to be in the weight loss market, this is the kind of site you need to build. So what Google wants to see is a real business. They want to see a real business. They want to see a real company. They want to see value. So
hey Matt, can I tell them the Mind Power story?
Yeah, it's a great story. And
yeah, so
go ahead.
I'm going to just jump in here. I mean, for those who don't know what we're talking about when we say Google-friendly site, just to give you a little history, you know, 5 years ago, it used to be that you could just come out with any website, and as long as you weren't, like, you know, killing babies with the KKK on your website, it was all cool, you know. And that's no longer the case. They have these policies that they're really strict. They'll just stop you from advertising and say your site doesn't comply with their policies. and they won't even tell you like what exactly. In fact, I talked to a Google rep, and they said like, well, we don't like to tell you exactly what's wrong with your site because we want you to do the legwork and work the site and improve it. And I mean, they can get so crazy with their policies. They suspended my account because of a site that I was advertising on like 7 years ago in the same account, which was like when I was first getting started. It was a site called Mind Power Secrets, which I hadn't like bought traffic to in years. But so I had to like re-register the domain. They didn't care that I didn't even have the domain anymore. I had to buy the domain again, and then they wanted me to put content on, and I said, well, I don't really have a product or anything. They said, we don't care, put something on there. I tried to put things, nothing was good enough, so finally I had to put some crazy poetry and like some weird artwork that I did, and finally they were okay with that. But the point is, to all this, that you need to have a site that passes their standards in order to not get the dreaded Google slap.
And we have a lot of experience with this. We've been slapped 9 times and actually unslapped 8. So we understand how to build a Google-friendly website, and you have no choice. So you really want to get it good out of the gate. It's better to build it right and then not deal with slaps and unslaps later. So we got a couple of submissions, and that's a big point too. Is
big point.
Sure, yeah, this is huge, guys. Listen, when people want to hire me to help optimize their business, I don't charge by the hour. I charge a piece of what I'm going to bring of the extra profits, and usually it's substantial. Otherwise, I don't even bother working with them because it's just not worth my time. So you're getting a great opportunity. Claude, Bossman, British Bulldog, all these guys are incredibly valuable, and you're getting access to all of us. Bruce, you can't hire us. So this is it, and I strongly urge you to send in your submissions. And if you don't want to share your URLs, that's fine. You can share your submission, and we'll just share the image of whatever you've got. First of all, it's actually a pretty good opt-in page, and what we've found over and over again, and this is absolutely a golden rule, is that the less copy we have, the better it performs. Now, the one thing that's hitting me here, this is just, again, this is what's hitting me, is how to build an 8-figure information publishing business from scratch. I'm involved with products that are so powerful that I can't even share with people how powerful they are, because it just becomes unbelievable. So sometimes you actually have to downplay the power of your product in your marketing. And in this case, 8 figures it kind of rings that bell for me. That's the first thing I would test, is maybe even 6 figures. I would test 6 figures against 7 figures against 8 figures. I think 8 figures, I mean, if you were trying to sell this to guys that are already successful, that are maybe making 6 or 7 figures, this could entice them, right? But I think a lot of people are being lost by the 8-figure thing. I think it's just kind of out of their grasp of vision. Couple of other details too. The headline, you got a weird mix of capitalization and uncapitalization and big caps, and like, the how has a big cap, and then 2 is a small, and builds big, and A and F and I is big, and from is small, and even if your is small and not's cap, it's kind of a design mess a little bit. So what we've tested over and over again is keep your things congruent. Maybe having capitalization on not would help. And another thing too is exclamation marks. You want to stay away from exclamation marks. So here, and also in your kind of subhead up top here, exclamation marks, a lot of times it turns people off. An exclamation mark is automatically hypey, right? So it's always better to use a question mark or a period or the 3 ellipses, which is the 3 dots.